Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Anyone remember that fuck-ass hippo from the Sang movie? That was on my mind today, and I wanted to be a little intro for this podcast. Guys, welcome the fuck back to episode 4 of the Pandulce podcast. Let's get a round of applause going. We're banging out here, yo. A lot of podcasts, they don't make it to episode 3. Or they just end prematurely, but I think we're a little different. If you're watching on video, I'm sure you see that there's a new setup. I'm sitting on a couch. I'm super comfy. And I hope you guys are liking it. I mean, if you're kind of seeing me man spread a bit, I'm closing my legs right now, but they'll get back open because that's just comfortable. But yeah, tell me if you guys like the new setup. I kind of like it. It's comfy. And shout out to Juan Orozco, my friend who goes to Purchase, or I guess not anymore, but he went here and he told me about this place. Yeah, great space. So shout out to you. You're super sexy and stay sweet. So, last week I told y'all hoes to tell your tias to tell me about the tea. And none of you did it. What the heck? Super duper whack. So I'm giving you one more chance to tell me about the tea. The tia tea. I have an email address now. It's Pandulce Pictures 1, the number 1, @gmail.com. Send me your stories. Send me things you want to talk about. Send me your tea. Send me your nudes. I mean, send me anything you want to discuss. Anything that wants to be talked about can be talked about on this pod. We're being more free. So you know what? The first thing I want to talk about is today's Sunday. The Oscars are tonight. Super excited. Who's going to win? All this stuff. I mean, whatever. Who really cares at this point? I don't care anymore. I wanted Dune 2 to win. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. But, everyone's been talking about that Timothée Chalamet speech. And I remember when it first came out, like a week ago, because I guess I remember shit, I guess. And people in the comment sections were like, oh, he's being cocky. And I kind of felt like, you know what? Timmy's speaking his truth. I mean, Timothée, he's a talented man. He's definitely one of the GOATs right now. He's definitely the best of his generation. And for people to feel like, oh, he's being cocky, just accept your world and be humble. What is this thing with being humble? Why do we got to be humble all the time? And I know I'm not the first person to talk about this. It might feel a little repetitive. But no, that man Timmy deserves it. And he didn't even say he's the best. He's saying he's aspiring to greatness. So I think good on Timmy. Super talented. Love that guy's work. I'm a glazer. But speaking on how that might be low-key dangerous, is that that there's like a high schooler right now doing his production of Beauty and the Beast, and he's the lead. He's the Beast. And he thinks he's like the shit. Like, he thinks he's going to change the acting world, and he's got a big-ass ego. And he's singing this Timothée Chalamet speech, and he's like, oh, yeah, Timothée Chalamet, tell him how it is, man. You're confident. You're going to get to the top. Buddy, you're not Timothée Chalamet. You're playing the Beast. Just let out a roar and keep it pushing. Yeah, those musical theater boys, where do they go? Some of them make it. I guess some of them start podcasts and, well, whatever. But you know what? Something that does bug me, we're throwing it back. We're throwing it back to something that was a while ago. Remember when Angela Bassett was up for the Oscar for Wakanda Forever, the Black Panther movie, against Jamie Lee Curtis, some other girl, and holy shit, I'm forgetting her name, but the girl who plays the daughter in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Stephanie Hsu. That shit pissed me off. And not because I think Angela Bassett should have won. It's the exact opposite. Angela Bassett pulled up to the Oscars, and I remember this vividly. She was talking to an interviewer, and she's like, well, we feel like this is your year. Is this your year? And she goes, this is my year. Bitch. And then the kids start talking. It's like, Yeah, this is my mom's year. I think she's gonna win. Yo, be so fucking for real, man. And everybody in the comment section of these TikTok posts are like, yes, it's Angela Bassett's year. She's gonna win it. She did so good in Wakanda Forever. Brother. Everyone wanted her to win based off this 30-second clip of her that was in the trailer that was like, I'm the queen of Wakanda. Blah, blah, blah. And then, my son is dead. And she was sad and she was screaming like, okay, let's unpack this. Being angry and emotional in one scene in a movie does not guarantee you an Oscar, especially when the Oscar is in the trailer. Like, what? Also, this is a superhero movie, so I don't know why she was so adamant on winning. I mean, the only superhero movies that have won acting-wise is, like, The Joker. And she was not given a Joker performance. I don't know what was going on with that. But, you know, I mean, think about it. I mean, in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Namor, this is the goofiest part of the movie. I do not understand why people want her to win. Namor's goofy ass with his like feathers on his toes throws a water bomb at her and she goes, ah! And she flies back. Like that is not Oscar worthy. That's goofy and ridiculous. Also, this is going to sound crazy, but I was watching it when I watched this movie with my friend Jack Eve. I think it was literally right after she died literally right after she died. I think there's a dream sequence. And all of a sudden, like, Angela Bassett's wearing, like, this huge, I don't even know how to say this. She's wearing, like, a push-up bra or something. So her, like, yitties were, like, pushed out. And me and my friend were just like, okay, why did they choose to do this now? Like, she was not looking like this before, and all of a sudden they're putting these things on forefront. Like, aren't we supposed to be mourning her? I can't take it seriously. I just can't. And, so yeah, obviously she did not win the Oscar, and Jamie Lee Curtis won. Okay, and let's be clear. I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis deserved to win. I forget what she did in Everything Everywhere All at Once besides the freaking noodle arm bullshit. But I mean, like, Jesus Christ. I mean, I think Stephanie Hsu should have won. They didn't give it to her because she was too young, which is so annoying. I hate how the Oscars do that. But I guess it's because, you know, the older people don't have much of a chance to win. And, you know, I like Jamie Lee Curtis. No hate to Jamie Lee. I loved her in The Bear Season 2. I liked her in Everything Everywhere All at Once. I don't think I've seen her in anything else. I'm sure she's great in Halloween. Angela Bassett, I think she ended up winning that honorary Oscar thing, which good for her. I'm not saying she's not a talented actress. She totally could have won for some of her other roles, which I haven't seen. But I don't know. To me, like, winning an Oscar for being the girl who got water bombed by Namor in MCU's Black Panther Wakanda Forever is a little ridiculous. Also, a quick tidbit. Fuck the actress who plays Shuri in Wakanda Forever. She's anti-vax. That's dumb as fuck. Like, you're a little slow. How are you going to be the king of Wakanda? Be the smartest person on earth and you anti-vax. Oh my fucking God. That's ridiculous. Get it together. What is going on? Kevin, wrangle her in. All right. I guess Angela Bassett, she was hungry for the win. Just like I'd be hungry for these Girl Scout cookies. Y'all like that transition or what? Y'all like that? So, it's Girl Scout season. The Girl Scouts are out there. Everyone's got their favorite cookie. I'm a big fan of the peanut butter ones, the tag-alongs. Those shit's banging. And I like the little shortbread cookies too. The Thin Mints, I'm not huge on the Thin Mints. But, you know, I give them a chance once in a while. Sometimes I pop one in my mouth. It's a little yummy. Give it a 6 on the yummy scale. And, you know, speaking of Girl Scouts, why can't boys be Girl Scouts? I think this was a movement that was happening a while back. And I think we need to bring it to the forefront because what the fuck? Being a Boy Scout is lame as fuck. I'm not saying that it's horrible, But I think the only fun thing we did in Boy Scouts was do the race car derby. If you remember if you were in Boy Scouts, you remember the race car derby. I don't know if they all did it, but it was super lit. You got to design a car and race it. That's so fire. But we were selling popcorn. Who the fuck buys popcorn, man? And as a little fat kid, you know I was pissed off because I wanted to eat those cookies. I did not want to eat that popcorn. And nobody wanted to buy the popcorn. The only reason people bought the popcorn is to support the children and support their sons. But that shit was whack as fuck. Why can't the boys sell Girl Scout cookies? Why can't we just be called Scouts and we all sell cookies and we just separate them by gender? That's not equality. That's segregation. I want to be a Girl Scout. It's too late now. I was telling my sister, because I have a niece named Ellie, and I was like, oh, we should get Ellie into Girl Scouts. And she's like, stop acting like you have a say in this girl's life. She's not going to be a Girl Scout just because your fat ass wants to eat some cookies. Like, bitch, fuck you! There's nothing wrong with being a Girl Scout. And let me get those free cookies. It is so messed up, yo. Come on, nah. And I'm sure she would love being a Girl Scout. That sounds super fun. I don't know what the Girl Scouts do besides eating the cookies. The cookies is my main thing here. Ugh. All right, there's my rant on that. And you know what? Speaking of cookies, there's been abundance of cookies showing up in my house. And I was like, who's buying these cookies and for what? And I'm realizing now, they're not for me, they're for my niece. I'm not saying I need cookies. Cookies probably don't help me out in any way, shape, or form, but the fact that cookies have arrived in the house and they're not for me and they're for some little girl, it pains me in some way. My parents don't really love me the same anymore. They're abandoning me. Their eyes don't light up when they see me anymore. They're focused on this little ass girl. So, I got beef with you, Ellie. Just kidding, I love you. So what else have I been doing in life? I've been taking a lifeguarding class, I've been swimming. I've been perfecting my strokes. Crazy. But I mean, I did not know how to swim. I thought I knew how to swim, but I was just splashing that water before, which I guess I was doing wrong. But now I've started this really swim. I've started to find my groove. I'm getting a little quicker in the water, holding my breath longer. It's great. I feel like everyone should start swimming. I think it's a great way to do cardio, and it's a great way to get some fitness in. So shout out lifeguarding. The class is not counting for any of my credits. I just took it for fun. And I don't really know if I'm going to get a lifeguarding job, but I think it's just good to learn stuff, even if you don't need to learn it. I think it's good for screenwriting. I think it's good for acting. I think it's good for just learning. I mean, live a little. The things you do don't always have to help you towards a specific goal right now. So I inspire you all, hopefully, to just go ahead and try shit just cause. Maybe I should go kayaking. Do I want to become a professional kayaker? No. But that shit might be baller. All right, I got another topic to speak about. So I was looking up the best podcasts in the world, or the most popular, because we're trying to get this thing up. We're trying to get the money in. We're trying to make a big splash. And I saw that Call Her Daddy was super popular. So I started listening to Call Her Daddy. Guys, this podcast is fire. Stop watching the Pandulce podcast and start watching Call Her Daddy. I binged the first 5 episodes and I'm addicted to it. It is so fucking entertaining. And I think what maybe my podcast doesn't have that their podcast does super well is the back and forth. I feel like Sophia in that podcast is the super funny one, and Alex kind of just bounces off of her in a really great way. I don't know. Super great podcast. And both those girls fine as hell. I think that's a helpful skill. I mean, I don't know if they really did a video podcast, but I don't know. Them girls fine. Maybe I need to get a supermodel on the pod. Just have him be my co-host and just be like, okay, you look sexy. I'm going to do my thing. I'll be the funny one. You got to be the straight man. or straight woman, you know? No sexism here. But yeah, that Call Her Daddy podcast is super, super entertaining. And like, I'm so interested in all the crazy sex stories they have. Like, damn. A man is not getting ball like that. A man is not getting play like that. I could not do that on my pod. I could not tell you every week about some crazy experience I have because that's just, it wouldn't be true. It's all a lie. Maybe I have to work on my riz, work on my skills, get a little badder, become a super baddie, and tell you all these crazy stories. Cause damn. This is the male version of Call Her Daddy in some form, in some way. Call her Shawty. But yeah, I heard about the Call Her Daddy breakup as I started watching this, and that shit got me depressed. What are you telling me these two broke up and they're not friends anymore? That's so whack. That's just messed up. I mean, Alex Cooper, she's made her bank. She's like a millionaire living, and Sophia, I don't know how she's doing. I think she's doing well, but damn, like y'all couldn't stay friends? And they don't talk to each other at all, apparently? I was on the TikTok looking up the tea. They're just not friends. That's fucking wild. I don't understand that. But, you know, to each their own. So shout out Call Her Daddy. If either of the hosts want to help me out on this podcast, yo, pull up. Sophia, if you are on the streets begging for cash, pull up to the Pandulce pod. Let's get it going. I guess I wanted to talk about some things I thought were fire. And you know, this first one, it's gonna relate a bit to Call Her Daddy. We're gonna try a little bit. So I got 3 things that are fire here. The first one is fruit. Guys, I've been on the fruit thing. I've been eating my mangoes. I've been eating my tangerines. That shit yummy. Fruit is so underrated because if you stop being a little fat ass and start eating somewhat healthily, you realize how delicious fruit really is. If you're not chugging down like a gallon of ice cream in your mouth, fruit starts tasting real sweet. And I wake up sometimes and I down like 4 tangerines because they're just so good. And the same thing with mangoes. I'm a big mango fan. Now when I see that mango, it's just, I eat that shit. Super good, guys. So shout out fruit, yo. Another thing that I got put onto recently was Arizona's. They're only $1. Which, like, yeah, no shit. But although the Arizonas are super unhealthy for you, I mean, it's got a lot of sugar. Damn, those shits are banging. I love the way they taste. Super, super insane. Yeah, I got to try more flavors of that Arizona. And the last thing that I think is super fire this week is making out. Guys, a great makeout sesh will make your day. It'll make your week, and it might make your year. Making out is something that was introduced to me a couple years ago. I've had my experiences. I've lived a little. And it's just really cool. Like, I don't even know how to explain it besides that it's really fucking cool. Like, that'll just get you in a perky-ass mood. Like, you'll be all smiling and shit. And, you know, the best place, I think the coolest place to make out is in a movie theater. I don't know what about it. Maybe that's because that's the first time I made out with someone was in a movie theater, but that shit's fire. I don't know. Let me tell you a crazy-ass story about my first makeout session. Okay, so I was dating this girl. She was my first girlfriend, and we went to the movie theater, and we went to go see Dumbledore, the Dumbledore secret Harry Potter horrible spinoff movie. And it was our like second date or whatever, and we were like hanging out, and I was just like in my head I was like, we're gonna kiss today, and I never kissed a girl before. And then we were just like in the back, and like no one was really there, and I don't really know how it started, but I guess we just started like, somehow we started kissing, but I guess she didn't want to like be kissing the whole time, so it was like in bursts. So I just remember that when there would be like a huge sound effect or something like really loud, our faces would just like fly towards each other, and we just start going at it. And then we'd stop, and then we'd start again. You know, it's a blissful thing. Get you a makeout buddy. It doesn't even have to be sex. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You don't have to do anything crazy. That should be a thing. There should be a place where you could just find a makeout buddy. It'll change your life. Make sure to brush your teeth. Make sure to pop a mint. And make sure the person you're making out with is good looking, because I've had an experience one time where you're making out with someone. I was making out with someone, and you open your eyes and you're like, oh no, hell no. They a little chopped. And then I would just have to close my eyes again to keep me from cringing or squinging. Squinging. What a word. That girl, whoever you are, you don't know who you are. So I'm going to keep it a secret. But yeah, that's scary, yo. Make sure you're making out with someone. If you're drunk, be on the lookout. Make out with someone you think is cute. Don't make out with some rando you can't really see in the dark, and then you go outside and there's a little light shining above you and he's chopped or she's chopped. That is fucking scary. So be careful out there. Another thing. I gotta find a better way to transition into these things. Recently I got a prank call. And I actually get a couple of prank calls a year. So people are really interested in my life. But 2 days ago, I got a prank call, and I'm sure she's going to listen to this podcast, whoever you are. I'm calling her Pregnant Betty. She called me, and she was just like, Angel, loving the podcast, blah, blah, blah. You're doing such a great job. And I don't have any idea who the fuck this girl is. But I was just like, oh my God, no, thank you. You're so amazing. Thank you for listening to the podcast, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then I was just like, but like, who are you? Like, who is this? And Betty was all like, well, I'm Betty. She didn't have a Southern accent. I just feel like Betty's a Southern ass name. And she was telling me like, yeah, I got pregnant. And I was like, damn, Betty. And she said we had a class like 4 semesters ago, and she named an improv class. I was like, we did not have that class together. And then she was being really weird about which class it was, so I have no idea how this girl knows me. And then Betty tells me, and guess what, I'm pregnant again. I was like, Betty, you're pregnant again? Oh my God, Betty, lock in. Betty's not locked. Guys, wear a fucking condom. Just wrap that shit. Because how many more babies can Betty have? She can't keep popping these things out. Does Betty have a house? Does Betty have a salary? No. Betty's going to be on the streets. Oh my God. Spare her $1. Spare her some fucking change. But yeah, shout out Pregnant Betty. Next time. Hey, and who even is the father? That's next week's episode. We need the father on the podcast. Ooh, yeah. Let's get him on. So yeah, speaking of impregnating and sex and all that, Drake is back. Drake recently dropped that album with Party Next Door, and I guess it just goes to show that the big ass veiny dick can't be stopped, which is Drake. We've all seen the video. I mean, some of us have seen it. It's out there. I guess Drake is packing crazy. But my friend says that Drake is going to Japan, and I'm scared. I'm just nervous. Because although I do fuck with Drake's music heavy, and I do love that new song that sounds like, who's calling my phone? Who's calling that shit? Is it Stacy? Is it Party? Where's the function? Where the fuck the function? Where the fuck the function? It's, I don't know, Drake also a menace? Why was he texting Millie crazy? Millie was like 14. Can't really be defending Drake out here. So Drake going to Japan is scary because the age of consent in Japan is 14. Drake, be Drake. You can't fuck that little ass dog, man. No, it's too much, Drake. You can't. You gotta stop that shit. But I did think the album was a banger. I mean, I only listened to 3 of the songs, but they're pretty good. I've always liked Drake more than Kendrick. I know that sounds crazy. I'm just not a Kendrick laser. I love Kendrick's music, but I just listen to more Drake. So the fact that he's coming back, it just means he can't be stopped. We need Drake on the podcast. Do you remember Bobby Altanoff? What the fuck happened with that? Where is she at? I heard she like divorced her husband and abandoned her kids and is somewhere on a yacht partying it up. Can someone confirm that? Send that to my email. Respond to my Instagram. We need Drake on this one. The last thing, speaking of Japan, speaking of Japanese culture, I was talking to my friend Banjiro Yamada, and he said I did not have permission to talk about Japanese people on the podcast, but I'm an ally. I'm an ally. I love Sony, I love Nintendo, and I fuck heavy with Mr. Miyagi from The Karate Kid. So I think I'm ready to talk on this. 2 nights ago, I was taking a walk, trying to get my steps in. It was late at night, like 10 p.m. I appreciated the cold. I was feeling the wind. I was alive. And there was an abundance of Japanese men walking the streets. And if you've ever been to Harrison, New York, you know that it's a huge Japanese population. But why the fuck were the men coming home at 10 p.m.? That's fucked up. What offices do they have these Japanese men in? This is like slave labor. You're getting home at 10 p.m.? Okay, from where Harrison, New York is to get to Grand Central, it takes like 45 minutes. Okay, so your commute, let's say it's like an hour 30 total. You're leaving at like 8 p.m.? What kind of overtime are you working, yo? You gotta free these Asian men. They got families, they got wives. They need love. They're not getting love on these streets. They're not getting love in these offices. I want to know their story. I just go up to them and I nod. I'm like, nice, man. Like, good to see you. But I don't know those guys. I looked at one in the eyes and I stared into his soul. Who is he? And they're all so well dressed in their suits. I'm sure their wives are super happy that they're out there putting their hours in at their job and supporting their family. And you know what? Good for them, but I want to see them free. Free from the shackles of corporate America. Free from all of it. I guess we're ending on a somber note here. I think this is the end of the podcast. I just want to tell you guys how much I'm loving doing this. This is super fun. I'm loving the new setup. I'm thinking I'm going to put a cat poster behind me or something fun. And you guys have really been supporting it. The clips are blowing up. The Jenna Ortega and the Weeknd clip are doing super well as the Honora clip. So guys, send something to my email. Okay, I want everyone to send something to my email. Tell me your crazy tea, tell me your crazy story, and the person who sends me the best thing, the most interesting thing, is getting $5 Venmo to you. We're calling this I don't know what we're calling it. Something with dough, because it's Pandulce, bread. So yeah, send your in. Follow me on Instagram at Angel4Aguilar. Follow the TikTok at Pandulce Pictures and the YouTube at Pandulce Pictures, yo. Shout out my Latinos. Shout out my Asians. Shout out Japan. Shout out the Girl Scouts. And shout out anyone listening to this. You're a baddie. I love you. You're sexy. Okay, guys, I think that's the end of it. If you'd enjoyed this, like, comment, leave a rating. Give me 5 stars, please. Give me 5 stars on everything. Tell the world how much you enjoy this. Share this with your mom. She's got to get on this too. All right, guys, thank you for listening, and stay sweet. Bye.